Hey folks, Bill Armstrong here. I'm going to put together a quick screencast to run you through all the important features of MyMathLab. So here we are. Let's get started. This is the home page, and let me begin by saying my home page probably looks different than your home page since I'm the the professor, the administrator of the actual site. So over here in the left-hand frame, there might be some stuff you see on this screencast that when you log in, you're not going to see. Don't worry about that. So over here in the left-hand frame, the first thing that we are going to look at will be the course information tab. So if you click on that, you're going to find 6 documents in here. They're all PDFs that I'm going to say they're all kind of important. In particular, some I'm going to say that you should print out and have a hard copy of at all times. So the first one you should print out and have a hard copy for is the course syllabus. You should also print out and have a hard copy of the academic calendar. That shows what's covered on a weekly basis, section-wise, and all important due dates. Online orientation, protocol for sending email, list of homework to practice exercises, and then the answers to the end of section exercises. So I'm going to kind of go through these one by one. So if this were a traditional class, this is the syllabus that would be passed out on the first day of class, and I would go over it. So here's some, just kind of, you can read most of this on your own, but I just want to highlight some stuff. First off is my email address. That is my email address. That's the address you have to use to send me an email. If you don't use this email address, obviously I will not receive an email from you. If you send me an email and 24 hours have gone by and I haven't replied to it, you've probably used the wrong email address. So again, make note, this is my email address. I've listed my campus office location and my office telephone number. Not really pertinent for this summer session. During the summer, I'm going to do office hours, by appointment only. You want to see me, we can do it virtually. And when I say they can be done virtually, we can do them via WebEx. It's very easy to do, so we could have a WebEx session. But just send me an email saying when you would like to meet to go over any questions that you may have, and it's very easy for us to meet remotely. You can see what the prerequisites are. You need a MyMathLab access code. Do not use the Lakeland Blackboard site for any content at all in this course. Everything is self-contained here at MyMathLab. You should have a graphing calculator. Let's see, grades. The grade you earn is going to be based on a total of 600 points possible. In Table 3, I showed the grading scale that I used. So here's how the 600 points are determined. There are going to be 3 tests worth 120 points each. And, it is mathematics department policy at Lakeland that all tests must be proctored. However, the Lakeland Testing Center is pretty much closed due to COVID-19 over the summer. So the 3 tests and the final exam, they're going to be done online. There will be a time limit for the 3 tests and the final exam. And any test, we will look at them here in a minute on the academic calendar, they can be completed on any day up to and including the deadline date shown on the academic calendar. And test questions are going to be similar to the online quizzes, which are much like those in the end of section homework exercises. So here's the test coverage. It's the first time you're going to see this information here in Table 1. So you can see the deadline for Test 1, the deadline for Test 2, and the deadline for Test 3, as well as the deadline for the final exam. And you can also see the sections. that each test will cover. Quick note on tests, notes, text, formula cards, etc. They are prohibited during the tests. All tests and the final exam will be completed at the MyMathLab site. By all means, you can use graphing calculators on the test. Perfectly fine. The deadline dates for each test are shown above here in Table 1. They're also shown on the academic calendar, which we'll look at in a minute, and they will also appear in the weekly announcements here at the MyMathLab site. So many times, many different ways, deadline dates will be known. I'll let you read through the testing policies. They're all pretty self-explanatory. Online quizzes. There's going to be a total of 12 online quizzes. And yes, they're completed online here at the MyMathLab site. These quizzes are going to be in the online quiz area. And we'll look at that here in a minute. And quizzes are going to total 120 points. So some quick notes on the quizzes. Each online quiz will have a deadline as shown in the academic calendar, and I have it listed in this table below here. The sections covered on each online quiz is shown on the academic calendar and in the table below. The online quiz, you must complete it in one session. That means if you start an online quiz, if you start taking it, you can't take it for like 10 minutes and then quit and think you can come back and pick up again. Once you start it, you must complete it in one session. Now, each online quiz, you can take it up to 3 times maximum. So say you take online quiz 1, your first attempt at it, you get an 8, you see what your errors were, you can take it again. And you take it again and say you get a 10, that'd be a 10 out of 10, you should be happy. And that's that. So you can see the online quiz coverage here for each quiz, what the deadlines are, the sections that are assigned. This will also be on the academic calendar and in the weekly announcements. Final exam, it's worth 120 points. So you can see here the point distribution. The 3 tests are 120 points each, so that's 360 points total. The 12 quizzes at 10 points each is 120 points, and the final exam is 120 points, so that's how your 600 points are determined. Also notice there is no collecting of homework. There are no points given directly for doing the end of section exercises. It's your grade that you earn is based on the online quizzes, the tests, and the final exam. If you want to do well in the course, you want to do well on the quizzes and the tests and the final exam, you will do the end of section exercises. That gives you the practice so that you can do well on the quizzes, so that you can do well on the tests and the final exam. And then here's table 3. You can see the percentages that I use to determine the grade you will earn for the course. You can read through about assigning course grades, academic misconduct, some general course tips. I believe going through the EText and doing the end of section exercises, even though they're not collected, your quizzes, tests, and final exams are going to have problems similar to those. So doing section by section, doing that end of section homework to practice exercises might be the single most important element to be successful in the course. Keep up with the assigned sections and the end of section exercises. Do not let it build up. It's going to be kind of hard to let it build up because this is only an 8-week course, so it moves at twice the pace of a regular semester course. 2, it's kind of hard to get too far behind because of the deadlines. About every 5 days, there's a deadline for a quiz. So I guess about not letting it build up, don't wait until the day a quiz is due to try to do all of the material that will be on that quiz. Try to get into the habit of doing stuff every day. You have a question, send me an email. And again, make sure you use the correct email address. There is my email address. That's the only way I can get an email from you is if you use the correct email address. Check out the protocol for sending email, which we'll go over here in a minute, before you send an email. And I guess the other, you can read through the rest of the general course tips. Actually learning the course material. So as you go through the assigned material of the course, I kind of came up with this 4-step process to attack the material. I think I call it the 4-step cycle of learning. So here's what you do. You log into MyMathLab, go to the section that you're going to be working on. So, you log in, go into the section, read the EText for the assigned section. While you're reading the EText, there will be links to videos and animations done by the author of the EText. Watching these animations and videos, they can be helpful when you're trying to do the practice and homework exercises. For many sections, I will supply a link to a YouTube video that I made highlighting the material in the section and showing some more examples. So the link to the YouTube video that I make, it will be in the weekly announcements. That's something we'll go over here in a little bit. Okay, while you're going through the section, so while reading the assigned section of the EText, after examples, you may see these things called You Try It. And these are some practice problems that are meant to immediately reinforce the concept that was just demonstrated in that example that you read or watched the video for. So when present, these You Try It exercises, they do give you immediate practice. Again, they don't count for a grade, but they will be matched up with some of the assigned practice exercises. So it might be a good idea to do some of those You Try It's. It's up to you there. Definitely do the practice and exercises at the end of each section. So once you've made it through the section, do the homework at the end of the section. Again, they don't count for a grade directly, but they do indirectly because it gives you practice so you can do well on the quiz, which does count towards your grade, and the tests, which do count towards your grade. Then after you've done that for each section, for material that will be on the online quizzes, we'll go to the online quizzes and do the weekly quiz. Or in this case, it's like a quiz every 5 days that we'll look at in here in the academic calendar. Acknowledgement of the syllabus. This is pretty straightforward. I don't know what more can be said about it. Please take note. All right, that's the syllabus. And again, that's something that I recommend. I strongly suggest that you print and have a hard copy on file. Next in the course information area is the academic calendar. So let me open that up. Again, you should print this out. Have a hard copy on hand. It shows all the important deadlines. So here, look, week 1, Friday, June 12th. That's the deadline to complete quiz 1. Wednesday, June 17th is the deadline to complete quiz 2. Sunday, June 21st, that's the deadline to complete quiz 3. Monday, June 22nd, that's the deadline to complete test 1. Generally speaking, I will open up. All the quizzes are open right now. You can take them all, whenever you want. But the tests I will not open until we get closer to the deadline. So like test 1, it has a deadline of Monday, June 22nd. I may open test 1 on, Saturday, June 20th. And, you will have until, Monday to do test 1. You only get one opportunity to do each test. So here's the academic calendar. So print it out, have a hard copy on hand. Notice that the deadline for the tests, they all fall on a Monday, except for the final exam. The final exam's deadline is Sunday, June 2nd. I think I have a deadline of getting final grades in by Monday, August 3rd. So Sunday, August 2nd is the deadline for the final exam. And then, again, here is a breakdown on what each quiz covers, which sections are on each quiz, and test coverage. So what sections are on each test. It's the second time you've seen this. This is also in the syllabus. But that's the academic calendar. So print that out, have a hard copy on hand of it. Next up in the course information tab is the online orientation. So let me open that real quickly. So probably the first thing that jumps out at me is the second item here, documents to have in hand. It's saying print out the syllabus, print out the academic calendar, print out the homework to practice exercises, and print out the protocol for sending email, which we'll look at all that here in a minute. Up-to-date class information. I will post this weekly in the announcements area of the My Math Lab website. So in the weekly announcements, you're going to see reminders of, section coverage, homework to do, due dates, and stuff like that, and when a test preparation tab is open. I will post, the subsequent week announcement sometime on Sunday morning. So here's how to get some help. Again, the main way to get help. Email me. There's my email address. Feel free to email me questions. Please use your Lakeland email when you send me an email. It just helps save me some time. And we'll go over that a little bit when we look at the protocol for sending email. There is tutoring, and I kind of copied this in here on, for the summer, how you could go about getting tutoring. So first thing is you'd log into my Lakeland, and then from the student tab, you would click on schedule it. Then you would select schedule tutoring or writing center session, because that's what it says. And then you go forward and, trying to get it tutoring if you wanted some tutoring this summer. If you have any questions about how to go about the tutoring, I've given you the name and email address of a contact person from the tutoring center. Taking the test, there are going to be 3 tests during the summer session and a final exam. Again, the tests and final exam are taken on the My Math Lab site. Dates, you can find the deadline dates for all this stuff in the course syllabus and the academic calendar. During the week of an exam, I will make available to you a study guide and a practice test to help you get a little more focused for the test. So you can read through the rest of it about taking tests. You can read through the rest of this on the online quizzes because we've kind of already gone over that. So that's the online orientation. So let me close that. Next up in the course information tab, well, let's look at the protocol for sending email. Again, there's my email address. That's the third or fourth time that I've highlighted my email address. Please use your Lakeland email account. The Lakeland email account, it allows me to immediately recognize that I have a student sending me an email. So I've received an email from one of my students. If you use your personal email account and say your personal email account is sleekdime@gmail.com, I might not recognize that as being one of my students. Or, Lakeland might think the server, might highlight it as being spam. So just use your Lakeland email account. It makes it easier on everyone. I ask you to please identify yourself at the beginning of an email, like what your name is, and remind me that you're in my Math 1650 online class. Number 4, I say allow time for a reply. I respond to email each day. You will definitely receive a response from me within 24 hours. Now, if you send a message late at night or on a weekend, you may not get an immediate response, but you will get one the next day at the latest. So sending me multiple repeated messages does not help. I'm not ignoring your email, so don't send me repeated multiple messages. You will get a reply from me probably within 8 hours, unless, of course, you send it late at night or on a weekend, but you will definitely get a reply from me within 24 hours. Number 5, this is just like a general thing. It doesn't matter if it's an online class or a traditional class or a hybrid class or whatever. Be cognizant of your writing tone. Sometimes people may write a message that seems harmless, but the reader may find it harsh or discourteous. So just be cognizant of it. That's probably true in general. Number 6, use complete words and sentences. Let's not use texting jargon. 7, state your question clearly. I mean, if it's a homework question, give me directions. Give me directions of, exercise 3 on page 201. We're asked to do something. I couldn't do it. How can I use my calculator? Or, give me as much information as possible. Number 8, this is a loaded one, tips for entering math in an email. Everyone kind of does this differently. We'll figure it out individually. We'll make it work. We tend to be able to communicate, but I'm not going to pass out a set of directions on how to enter math in an email. We'll figure it out. And that's it for the protocol for sending email. So let me close that. Next up in the course information area, and the final thing that I say you should print out and have a hard copy of, this is the list of the homework to practice exercises, or the traditional end of section exercises. So it tells you section by section what exercises to do. So for example, section 2.3, the exercises that begin on EText screen 2.3-28, I'm saying to master the concepts of the section, you should do 1 through 31 odd and number 32. And then, notice over here, section 5.3. The exercises begin on EText screen 5.3-19. You should do 1 through 9 odd, 15 through 31 odd, 36, and 38 through 43 all. So those are, print out, have a hard copy of this. You always know which problems that I think you should be doing to master the concepts that I think are important and the material that will allow you to be successful on the quizzes and the tests. The final thing in the EText homework to practice exercise answers, this is in the course information area. I would not print this out, but that's me. I'll show you why. Let me open it. Whenever I'm doing if I were a student, whenever I'm doing the homework, the end of section homework, I would just open this document and have it open as a tab. I mean, it opened into a tab, but I wouldn't print it out because it's, about 52 pages in length. But this is the answers for all the homework problems that I've assigned. So I think I just referenced section 2.3. So 2.3 exercises. There's the answer to number 1, number 2, 3, 4, etc. So all the problems that I've assigned, here are the answers. So again, that's found in the course information. There's the answers. Okay, again, this is the course information tab. Print out, have a hard copy of the syllabus. Looks like something important is in the syllabus. Print out and have a hard copy of the academic calendar, the online orientation. Print out and have a hard copy of the protocol for sending email. Print out and have a hard copy of the end of section homework to practice exercises. And here are the answers to all those homework to practice exercises. Okay, back over in the left-hand frame here. Next, let's look at the announcements real quick. So again, you probably don't see all of this stuff here. Don't worry about it that you don't see this. This is where you'll find your announcements. So I have this one available for you right now, so let's look at it. So we click on it, and I start off for week 1. I start off with a reminder of some stuff that you should print out and have a hard copy of. You've heard this several times now. I also highlight something that's really important in the syllabus. But right here's where most weekly announcements will begin. I'll identify the week, like week 1 announcements, and the dates I use to define a week. I have a little information here for you. And here's where I will give you the links to the YouTube videos that I make, not for all the sections, but for a lot of the sections. So a section by section basis, YouTube videos. So it says right click on the link and open in a new tab. So let's look at this one. So let me right click, open link in a new tab. And a few things. It looks like it is. It should be in HD. And I click play. Hey, next up, folks, we're going to take a look at lines, like a quick review of everything you wanted to know about lines. The first thing. So that will be me going over some information and maybe doing a few more examples. So, use them. Use my videos if you'd like. And I list what you need to do to prepare for online quiz 1. And, I give a reminder here of the exercises to do from each section, what EText screen they begin on. I know you've seen this already, but, redundancy is good. Due dates. So quiz 1, telling you, hey, make sure quiz 1 has a due date Friday, June 12th. Again, this is something you've seen in the syllabus and the academic calendar. And, a reminder, you can, you can take each quiz up to 3 times, but once you open a quiz and start it, you have to complete it. For quizzes, I don't have a time limit. There will be a time limit for the 3 tests and the final exam, but not for the quizzes. Then I say after you've done quiz 1, because that has a deadline of Friday, there's still a couple of more days left in the week, so you should probably get started and prepare for online quiz 2. So I say for online quiz 2, maybe get section 2.4 done. Again, there's a link to my video highlighting stuff I think is important in section 2.4. And here's the 2.4 exercises and what EText screen they begin on. So that's a typical weekly announcement. And so that's the week 1 announcement. Let me show you the week 2 weekly announcement. So you notice, again, that's how I define it. These are the sections. For online quiz 2, notice it's 3 sections that will be online quiz 2, and then 2 sections for online quiz 3, quiz 2, deadline of Wednesday, June 17th, quiz 3, a deadline of Sunday, June 21st, test 1, deadline Monday, June 22nd. So I thought I would just show you one more of these weekly announcements. So let me come back to the main menu. So again, every Sunday morning, I will make available for you the current week weekly announcements. So we've looked at the weekly announcements, the course information. I'm going to save the EText for last. Online quizzes. All right, so here's where your online quizzes are housed. So once you've done the material for online quiz 1, you just click on online quizzes. You come here and you click, and and away you go. I will say this: you have to follow the directions for the online quizzes. They're very, very specific on how the answers will be. So, for example, if the question says, find slope of a line, but for the answer area, it says, if it's a fraction, make sure the fraction is reduced to lowest terms. Those are the directions. And let's say you do the work and you enter the answer as 5/10. It will be marked wrong because you didn't follow the directions of putting it in lowest terms. 5/10 would reduce to 1/2. So follow the directions. I tend to answer a lot of questions where, folks say, I had the correct answer, but it was marked wrong. And chances are, like 99 times out of 100, you didn't quite have the correct answer because you didn't follow the directions. So follow the directions. But this is where you'll find the online quizzes. And look, they're all, you could take them all now if you wanted to. Next up, I'm going to do a quick look at the Gradebook. You will always know you're standing in the class. You click on Gradebook, and I haven't done anything here, but it will show you your grade. It will show you right here what your percent is. So you do a quiz. Once you do a quiz, boom, it'll show you the grade. Once you've done a test, it'll show you, it keeps a running track of what your percentage is. So you will always know you're standing in the class by checking the Gradebook. The next thing I'm going to look at is, here's a test preparation tab. I already have this populated for test 1. So this is where you would find information to get ready for tests. So things in this test 1 preparation. Study guide for test 1. So if I click on the study guide, it's saying, again, these are the sections. Here's where you will find the exercises, what EText screen. And these are the exercises to focus on from each of those sections. So it's giving you a little bit more of a fine-tuned focus to get ready for the test. And notice test 1 will have a 2-hour time limit. Other stuff in the test preparation tab, a practice test. So here's a practice test. Doesn't mean you're going to see problems exactly like this, but it just gives you an idea of what the test will look like or the types of questions. And those should look very familiar to the quizzes that you've done. Answers to some items from the practice test. Notice not everyone. It's answers to selected items. But it's just to give you an idea. And I do have a YouTube video with solutions to some of the items from the practice test. So that's what's typically in a test preparation tab. More information to help you really get dialed in for the test. So over here on the left-hand frame, we've looked at everything that's really important. Now it's time to look at the EText. So, I click on EText. Let me click on View the EText. Takes a little bit of time to open. Okay, up here it tells me what chapter we're in, so I don't need anything to review chapter. Here's where you open the window to see the chapters. So let me collapse that down. Let me just arbitrarily come into chapter 2. So I come into chapter 2. I can click here to expand the chapter, and then I can just click to go right to that section. So let me just click on 2-3, go look at lines, and then I like to close that. So up here, this is telling me that I'm in section 2.3, page 1, so 2.3-1. So this is like EText screen 2.3-1. If I click over here, it'll take me to 2.3-2. I can see the objectives. I click again. Now I'm into the EText, and this is like reading, like a regular textbook. So, we can read. There is an arrow here. This arrow is telling me it's a video. So I'm going to click on it. And I'll come down here and click play.
In this chapter, we are going to work extensively with the equations of lines. Now, before we do that, it's important that we understand slope. Let's have a look. So the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about the slope of a line.
Okay, I'm going to pause this. That's an example of those videos I was telling you that would be embedded in the EText. So I'm going to close this. So I come up here and make sure you close it from here so you don't lose your place. Let me go to 2.3-4, and well, here's a new icon. This is supposed to be, I think that the GV stands for like a guided visualization. So let me click on that just to show you what it is. So it says getting started, select the red coordinate points to move the line and change the slope. Select different display options to give additional information about the slope of the line. So, you know what? I'd probably like to see the slope formula. All right, there it is. I definitely want to see what the slope is. So the slope of this line right here is 9/7. And if I want to see how they compute the changes in X and Y, I would click on that. And then, I come over here and click and drag this point to another spot. I see what the slopes change to. So this is what a guided visualization is. It's kind of interactive. Sometimes there are animations that you would play just like a video. So you never really know exactly what you're going to get in guided visualization, but I thought I would show it to you because it's kind of cool. So if I continue through this section, I'm just trying to show you all the important features that's in the EText. So 2.3-5. Oh, here's example 1, finding the slope of a line. So notice you're given some points, find the slope of the line through the points. You can read through the solution. So you read it just like a textbook, or if you want, you can click on the video icon. And let me push play.
In this video, we're going to determine the slope of a line given two ordered pairs. So we want to find the slope of the line that passes through the indicated ordered pairs. So in part A, we have the ordered pair 6, -4.
Okay, I'm going to pause that. So you can see the example worked out. So close that. Notice after this example here on 2.3-5, here's some of the you try it that I was mentioning earlier in my 4-step cycle of learning. So we've read through this example, maybe we've watched the video. We could click on this to immediately practice the concept at hand, which is finding slope of a line. So find the slope of the line containing the pair of points 3, 1 and 8, 9. So let's see, that would be what, 8/5. So I would click in here, come down to my palette, type in 8, 5, and I'll come here and check my answer. It says I did a good job. Well, good for me. Let me try one more. Let's see here. What would we have as the slope of the line? So that would be 11. 11 over 15. Yeah, it's too bad. I was hoping to get one that I didn't reduce down, because I'm looking at these directions that I mentioned earlier. Simplify your answer. Type an integer or a fraction. So, I click in here and, let me check my answer. Yeah, I did a good job. Let me try one more. Let's see, this would be 13 over, yeah, this isn't, this is 13/9. I wonder what happens if I do this. I put 1 and 4/9. I wonder if it's going to like that. Yep, it liked that. All right. Follow the directions exactly. I don't like this answer of 1 and 4/9, by the way. 13/9 is much better. But follow the directions exactly. Simplify. Type an integer or a fraction. So let me close out of the You Try It. It's meant to give you immediate practice. And then you can continue through the section, page by page. But I just kind of want to jump to the exercises since I, referenced them. So I believe it's said on the academic or the weekly announcement, the exercises begin on EText screen 2.3-28, which you will also find listed elsewhere. So I just type that in there, I hit enter, and here's where the exercises begin. I think I had 1 through 31 odd that you would try here. So these are the exercises. And remember, the answers to these end of section exercises is in the course information tab. It's a PDF that I've put in there for you. So that's the EText. So here we are back here again. This is the course home. I mean, yours will look different than mine. Look, mine says instructor home. Again, here's where you'll find the weekly announcements. Here's the course information. Some things to print out. Something important in the syllabus. And here's where the answers to the end of section exercises are, what I just went over. Here's where you'll find the online quizzes. Remember, you can take an online quiz you can do it a maximum of 3 times, and there's no time limit on the quizzes. On tests, yes. On tests, yes, there is a time limit. Gradebook, you always know what your current standing in the class is. It's always here at the Gradebook. Test preparation tabs. And, finally, the EText. Click on that. So that's it, folks. That's a quick overview of my math lab and everything that's important here in order for you to be successful in the class. And again, the only thing that's counting towards your grade will be the online quizzes, the tests, and the final exam. So if you happen to run across something in here about a reading assignment or stuff like that, don't worry about that stuff. That is not graded. It's not part of your grade. So pretty much do what I've asked you to do. Spend the time on it. Work hard at it. And if you have any questions, on the content, send me an email. Welcome to the class, and thanks for watching.